Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're starting out with our new series, our new limited series called Success in Any Season. And I think this is a perfect time for us to talk about these things. You know, just moving into a new year, we are looking at the previous year being probably not exactly what we had expected. And so it's perfect that today we're talking to Kami. So, Kami, would you please tell our wonderful guest why we are so excited to have you on the show? Please introduce yourself. Tell us who are you and what is it that you do in the world?
Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. And I think there was just, first of all, I think you and I are so aligned. We love community, we love collaboration. And so that's the kind of energy I love to be in. So thank you for having me here. And so I'm Kami Guildner. I'm a business coach. I am a connector. I'm a storyteller, and I'm a business coach for women entrepreneurs who are ready to raise up their voice, their visibility, and really get out and make an impact in the world. I work with a lot of change maker women who have big impact that they're meant to make in the world, and their voices really matter. And I believe right now that women's wisdom is the medicine our world needs. And I am all about raising that medicine up and getting it out in the world.
Yep, you're speaking my language, and everybody who knows me knows that that is what I'm all about. So obviously, you can now tell guys why I'm so excited to have Cami on the show. So Cami, I mean, we didn't really know each other. We just kind of
Yeah.
happened to connect. It's like the universe conspired to bring us together. Why did you even say yes to being on our show? I know we're critically acclaimed, but still, why would you say yes?
Well, I said yes because you and I met on a EWM Platinum community meeting, like a small community, like it was like a gathering, an SBI meeting. And I just was drawn to you. First of all, I knew that our values were when you talked about what you believe in around community, around collaboration, around what this beautiful community is about, the Ladies Power Lunch is about. I was like, okay, you're very much aligned in the same values that I have. And so to me, when we can come together, bring our communities together, raise each other up, that's where, I think that's where the magic happens.
I
And I can't wait to bring you to my community, Extraordinary Women Connect, because it's all about connecting great women to great women. And so we're in this space of expansion, and it's an important time to be in a space of expansion. I mean, I think this time, you think about this whole year that we've been coming through and that we're stepping into this new year. I can't think of a more important time for women to be coming together and really, one, supporting one another, and two, lifting each other's voices up and putting them out in the world, because that's where the magic's really going to happen. That's where the big shift and the big change that's coming for us is going to happen.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And the thing that we all need to recognize, I think, is that when we come together, there's magic there
Yeah.
because we're getting a situation where one plus one no longer is equal to two. I love to
Mm-hmm.
call it new math. It,
Mm-hmm.
it's
I use the same math, so
it's
we're
something that is so much more brilliant and beautiful than we would ever see when we're just by ourselves. And so I continue to encourage community, I continue to encourage the interaction. But we're here to talk today about success in any season
yeah.
because I truly believe that no matter what's going on the outside, if we're able to really reach inside for inner peace, we can get through it. And so I've invited you here today to talk to us a little bit about a time when things might not have been looking all that great, but you've managed to pull through and you've managed to be successful. I feel like these are the stories that we need to be talking about right now so that everybody can really be encouraged and uplifted and invited to continue pushing through and actually having the success that's there for all of us. So tell us, Cami, what happened?
Well, 2020 happened, right?
I was there.
2020 happened. And, I think about a year ago, I was planning this year. And, I have very specific things that I was going to be focusing on in 2020. And it did not come out the way the journey did not land the way I anticipated it would. The outcome was fantastic,
Mhm.
but the journey was very much not like I planned it a year ago when I was sitting down to do my planning for the year.
I feel like
And
nobody really could have seen this
no,
coming necessarily.
no.
And I feel like we all had a similar situation. We all were sitting down in 2019. I think for us in our office, we were sitting down in October 2019 and going through all our usual planning routines and activities. And I can truly tell you, 2020 looked nothing like the plan that we had on paper. Just to give everybody a little bit of a background, where exactly are you located so we can know what we're talking about when we're talking about what we're talking about?
So I'm in Colorado. So I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
foothills of Colorado, and I have a wonderful community in Colorado. But I also have clients all across the nation. But it was um, I have hosted a series of events called Extraordinary Women Connect for this will be my 7th year
Mm-hmm.
of that, and then my big keystone event at the end of the year, which is Extraordinary Women Ignite. It was my 6th annual Extraordinary Women Ignite event in November.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been an intricate part of my business, is bringing great women together with great women
Mm-hmm.
at these events. And um, in January, I hosted my first one, and it was an amazing event in this beautiful facility. There was an art facility, and it was fantastic. So January kicked off pretty normal,
Mm-hmm.
and with all kinds of great energy around it. And at the same time, I had the year before in 2019, I had gone around the country a lot speaking, and I was sitting in January, really sitting there thinking, do I want to be doing more speaking this year, or do I want to be doing more podcasting? And I was actually looking at both. I was talking to someone that was going to put me on more stages, and I was talking to somebody who was going to put me on more podcasts. And in January, I really sat with that, and there was this, and something inside of me said, go with the podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
I've been podcasting on my own show for I'll be 4 years this coming. So it would have been 3 years at that point. I'd been doing podcasting on my own show, but it's like I love podcasting, and so there was something inside of me, this gut feel that said, invest in the podcasting. So I did, and I did not invest in the person that was going to put me on stages, which I'm so glad at this point, because that would have been money down the drain. It really would have been. Versus the podcasting was, what a great year to do that in. And so I made that decision in January, and then I had some speaking gigs lined up in January, February, March, and that last speaking gig that I did in March was things were just really starting to shift, right? And we were thinking at that point it was going to be like a couple weeks that we're going to have to stay home, right?
I
And
remember thinking we'll be home for 90 days.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
thought.
Yeah. And so I had a wild woman writing retreat planned in Oregon in May. I had my speaker training, we actually ran in February, so that ran normally. The book writing retreat did not run, obviously, in May. We moved it to September, which of course it eventually got canceled entirely until this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were rolling around to my next Extraordinary Women Connect events. And it's like, oh, I think we're going to have to take this one virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it virtual, that first one, and we had people from all around the world, and it started to expand it, right? I mean, it actually, opened up the possibility for people to be joining us from anywhere,
Yeah.
which was super cool. And then, but I was still in my heart thinking, my gosh, my big Ignite event in November is going to be a live event. But by September, or by not September, by the end of May, I was starting to question it. And I was just battling that feeling of, gosh, what's the decision I make here? And so every day I was going back and forth. And there was such tension in that going back and forth, trying to decide what it was that, which direction to go. And the moment I made the decision to go virtual and just be all in virtual and make it the best virtual 3-day event that could be, that it was lighter, right? I mean, I suddenly felt very much lighter. And so that shift was it was kind of a crazy time. There was a lot of tension in it. And once I made the decision, it was so much lighter. And this is how I started this with my clients very early on in the year as well. When a lot of this first started happening, I brought my clients together, and everybody was going through all kinds of emotions, myself included. What do we do? What's today like? And we put together a room a Marco Polo room where we could come together on a more frequent basis and really show up for one another. And which was great because there was a lot of healing that took place in that space. But also at the same time, I said to him, this is a time not for you to just sit back and be quiet. This is a time for you to actually go out and serve your clients, however they're meant to be.
Yeah.
What are the conversations they're having right now? And how can you go out and serve? And so one, take care of ourselves emotionally.
Sure. And
then go out and serve our communities. And that was a big call for my mastermind community through the whole year. And what was beautiful about that was they did go out and serve, and they did go out and make an impact, and they did take care of themselves at the same time. So it was just a crazy year. And I think that, like I said, it's not something that I could have guessed that was going to be the pathway that we would all take. And, going virtual on my big 3-day event was a journey in of itself. But at the same time, we all showed up and we served in ways that we could serve. And I think that was the beauty of the year. And, my clients did amazing this year. I mean, as their final year-end numbers were rolling in, it was really, truly, it was amazing to see how well they did do, despite the year.
Excellent. So, what would you say? Because I mean, I know you do have private clients and you do see work with people on a one-on-one basis, but like me, your business is primarily an in-person business. You do events. So, what was it that helped you through the challenges that this must have posed for you?
Yeah. One was just leaning into a lot of people, right? And I think if I think back through the year and the people that I leaned into who were also doing events, right? And we'd get together and we'd get on the phone and we'd like, what do we do with this, right? And women that were running other communities, we'd get on the phone and we'd support one another. And so there was this sisterhood that really took place of being able to lean into each other and share ideas and share, oh, here's the AV team that I just used on my event, right? Use this group. And, so there was all this sharing and connection and collaborating. And it was not, I mean, there was nothing about it that was in this competitive mode. I mean, it's like people could look at any one of these groups of women or women that I was speaking with, and in some ways we would be competitors, but none of us looked at it from that perspective. We're like, no, let's come together, let's play together, let's grow together, let's figure this out together. And that was the magic that really I think brought me through this year, in being able to to learn from each other, support one another, and be each other's biggest cheerleaders.
So, Kami, are you saying that using the power of collaboration, the power of the collective, are you really saying that that's what pulled you through
Oh,
all of
totally.
this?
Yeah.
See, this is so exciting for me because I have always known and I have always believed that competition is a mental construct. It's
Yeah.
something that we make up in our heads,
Yeah.
and that there is no reason for us to in any way and at any time be having that sort of mindset, but that when we actually come together and we actually work together and we support each other, of course, intentionally, and of course, with everybody having the same attitude, that everybody grows. So it's so interesting to me that this is something that you have lived and seen in action.
Absolutely. I mean, it's in it, to be honest, it's been something that I have been doing from the very beginning of my business. I mean, it's just something that I truly believe with all of my heart that that's the way to be. If we're going to show up in our best energies of who we are and in our highest vibration, that's the energy that we can choose. And when we choose that energy, we all catapult together. And I truly believe that.
I believe that too. That's one of the reasons why I think we connected so well because we're just two peas in a pod. We're definitely of the same mindset. So I know that with the new year and we're moving into really encouraging everybody that you can have success in any season and you don't have to look at the outside pictures to determine what your personal success is going to be. What words of wisdom would you have for the women listening to our show today?
Sure. I think that the other big piece for this year has been really taking care of myself, right? I very early in the year chose to work with a health coach, and so I was choosing very nutritious foods. I was choosing movement. I was choosing good mindset practices. And part of what I in my work, I love to talk about the R factor, how we resonate, and it ties to all these different pieces, right? So we're walking out of this year with highs and lows and all kinds of messiness, the messiness of this year. And chances are we're still holding on to some things. And I can tell you there's some things that I've been hanging on to that I've noticed energetically that I've been holding on my body that I really had to purposely let go. The division that's happened in our country. I mean, it's impacted my family directly. And, it's like all of this kind of tension that has happened in this year. And I have been really working hard these last few weeks to release.
Mm-hmm.
And that means so that I can step into this new year with clean energy, with a clean vibration,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm really can be stay on track with what my purpose is and how I'm meant to serve. And I can't do that if I'm holding on to a whole lot of just negative mess from this year. So it's like letting go of those pieces, anything, whatever that might look like, because everybody's stories are going to be different from this year. So whatever tensions you might be holding in your body right now, do the work to feel into it, to acknowledge it, to recognize it, and then let it go. And I mean, it's a full moon right now. So what a perfect time to be letting it go, right? Is to let it go in this full moon. And I can tell you, I did it this morning in a full moon meditation. And there was such lightness in me after that release, right? It was like opening up to what's around us and I truly believe that our world is going through some big, massive transformation.
Sure.
And it's exciting for me what's on the other side of it. And it doesn't mean that it's easy getting through this portal piece that we're going through right now.
Sure.
But when we get to the other side of it, I feel like we're all going to breathe a lot easier, and we're all going to be able to really step up and do our work the way that we're being called to do our work. And that's the exciting part for me, is that, there's so many of us that are being called to step up and to really show up. And it means you have to do your work to get through to the other side. But on the other side, it's like, oh my gosh, what we can create together is going to be really beautiful.
I love that. I love that. I really do 100% resonate with what you're saying about coming out on the other side and things being very different because it's sort of like I love to use the butterfly as an example of the transformation that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, I'm sure inside the chrysalis, it's pretty rough going, right? Because you're
That
changing
change.
from one completely different looking animal into another completely different looking animal. It's
Yeah.
happening and it cannot, it's got to be a messy process, right?
Yes.
You go,
Yes.
I'm sending everybody to go dissect a chrysalis. No, don't do that. Go on YouTube, find a video of what's happening on the inside of a chrysalis, and
Mm,
you'll see the transformation is messy. It probably hurts the butterfly a little bit too, right?
yeah.
But on
Yeah.
the other side of that, it's just an amazing, beautiful thing that comes out of it. And so I feel as though that is what's happening for all of us
Yeah.
too. And that's why we theme the 2020 transformation. And it's interesting because I had no idea when we sat down in October 2019 to develop our theme for the year. I had no idea what it was going to be like. But at the same time, now I can see, oh, wow, we're looking at the transformation that has been 2020 and looking at the possibility of success for
Yeah.
2021. And I
Yeah.
also like that you're not sugarcoating this. You're not slapping a happy face sticker on a bad situation because
Yeah.
we've had challenges for 2020.
Yeah.
In my family, we just over the holidays, I was talking to my husband's uncle, and he lost my husband lost his dad, he lost his aunt, and he lost his uncle's wife. So three people from COVID gone
Yeah.
in our family. You know,
Yeah.
it's not that we're trying to say that, oh, it's been
No.
unicorns and roses for
No.
2020, but what we're saying is, and I think what you're saying, Cami, is that we need to look to the other side and
Yeah.
realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
And keep showing up in your gifts. I mean, I think each one of us are on this planet for a reason right now. I mean, I think we've
Mm-hmm.
actually chosen to be here. The whole nother story that we could go down, but it's like, I believe that we're each here for a reason right now. And each of us has gifts and talents and how you're meant to make a difference. And, take care of yourself first and then go out and help your communities in whatever way that is, however you serve, whoever the people are that you serve. Listen to them, hear their stories, and serve. And that's the ripple effect that really happens when we start to honor the gifts that we have for helping others. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that we can do through the midst of this.
I think a lot of the members of our community actually during this season that we've been through 2020 actually were able to dive deeper, to
Yeah.
dive more deeply into their gifts and
Uh-huh.
their talents. So this has really proven to be an opportunity for a lot of us.
Yeah.
You mentioned that for your event, you were able to have people coming from all over the world that perhaps if you'd had an in-person event, it might not have been as convenient for
Right.
them to have attended. And so they've had an opportunity to connect with you in a different way, but you've also had an opportunity to connect with them in a different way as well. So there have definitely been opportunities, I would say, from 2020. And
Yes.
I feel, hold on to that and move with that into the new year. Then we can see the success that is waiting for us on the other side. What do you think?
Yes. Yes. No, I totally agree. I think that we're all walking away with gifts from this year. And I think that's something first, as we reflect, as we close out this year, what were the gifts that happened in this year that wouldn't have happened, you know? had we not been in this predicament. And I know there's many, and to be grateful for amidst all of the other turmoil that has happened. And as you said, we've lost people. There's a lot of turmoil that's happened, and at the same time, there's been gifts amongst that. So
Definitely, I like that you point us to gratitude because I think sometimes, especially when we're going through the tough times, we can forget about the little things that are so meaningful and things that can be our little touch points, the things that we can hold on to help us to get through to the other side. For me, sometimes it's simple, really, really simple things like socks.
socks with no holes in them.
Socks. I mean, have you ever like found just the fluffiest, most cozy, comfy pair of socks?
Totally.
And
I would tell you, I laugh because my husband would laugh that we're even talking about socks because he knows how much I love socks. And, and I was like, okay, these socks need to go. They have holes in them. I need whole new socks. And this has been my theme this last month. So
just being grateful for amazing socks. I got socks for Christmas,
me
guys. It
too.
was awesome.
And I asked for them. So there
Yes,
you go.
I always ask for them so everybody knows
Yeah.
socks. I want to say hi to our ladies who joined us over on Facebook, who joined us live. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mina. Really happy to see you guys over there. And of course, um, I am going to invite you, Cami, to hop on over to our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group and you can just drop all your information over there so
Okay.
that people who would like to connect with you can do so with great ease. Tell us, do you have any upcoming events or anything that you'd like to promote, anything that you'd like us to know about before you go?
Just a couple things. I always love to invite people to join us over in my Extraordinary Women Connect Facebook group because it's
Absolutely.
all about connecting great women to great women.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're really excited about doing in 2021 and very early in the year is expanding that with a podcast connector community. And I believe we're going to keep it within the Extraordinary Women Connect community, but it is about connecting great podcast hosts to great podcast guests and having an opportunity to bring people together in that sort of a way. I just kept growing my community on both sides of that, and I was like, wait a minute, and my clients are going through, they have amazing stories to be sharing and amazing impact to be making. And so I really wanted to create this place to connect podcast host and podcast guest. It's just part of that raising up women's voices. And I think podcasting is a great way to do it right now. So
I love that.
that's going to be rolling out early in the year. And I'll be featuring a lot of podcast hosts over there, including you, where, just what you're looking for when you're looking for guests. That's going to be a question that I really want people to cover. What is it that, you're looking for from a great guest perspective for your podcast, and how do you go about, so that I'm going to be bringing a lot of podcasters on to talk about that so that people can really gain that insight around, how do they show up on more podcasts.
I love that. That's wonderful. So, how exactly can people connect with your Extraordinary Women group? Do they just
Yeah, so just search on Facebook for Extraordinary Women Connect. My Facebook is my website is kamiguildner.com.
Mhm.
My podcast is Extraordinary Women Radio,
Nice.
and I get to interview amazing women. So it's those are the best places to reach me.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Cami, for being on our show today. I am so blessed that you joined us. And I would like to thank everybody who joined us over on Facebook for hanging out with us today. Everybody, we have so much to look forward to this year. We have our Ladies Power Lunch Summit coming up. We have our Ladies Power Lunch books that are coming up. We have so much wonderful things that are happening. So I would invite everybody, if you have questions or concerns or you want to know more, just go over to ladiespowerlunch.com and you can have all your questions answered there. Thank you everybody for listening today and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thanks, Davia.